Hello. Productivity content can be extremely overwhelming, and it seems like we have to dedicate a lot of time to consuming productivity content when what we really want to do is to get some work done. So, in this presentation, I'm going to present a simple model for how you can think about productivity and what you can focus on and optimize. The 7 dimensions I'll be talking about, one dimension is on what we want to achieve, 5 dimensions on how to achieve what we want to achieve, and the last dimension is how to improve the how. So, how can we optimize the way that we work? The first dimension is define. What is it that we want to achieve, and how clear are we about the thing that we want to do? If a task is not clear, then it's very difficult for us to actually focus and get the task done because we don't know what it is that we want to accomplish. So, defining the what task do I want to complete, what project am I working on, what does success look like, is extremely important, and it's going to have an impact on your ability to focus and your ability to avoid distraction. If you don't have a clear definition, then you're prone to distraction and procrastination. 2 questions I would recommend you ask yourself: what does done look like, and what does doing look like? Done in terms of having completed the task, and doing in terms of executing the task. So that's the first dimension, which is define. Then we're going to look at 5 other dimensions which relate to how we're going to accomplish the task. The first one is dump. Do you really need to do this task? Is it that important? It may be something that you were interested in but are no longer interested in, or it's not of high quality. It's not the best option of something, of a task that you need to do. We see a lot of articles, for example, that are just clickbait and they don't provide any content beyond what you already know. So, is it worth putting that on your task list? Most likely not. So, you can get rid of it, you can dump it from now. The second option or dimension is actually doing the task. And like I said, having a clear definition of what it is you want to accomplish and how you will accomplish it is extremely important, and it will allow you to stay focused and productive. The third dimension of the how dimensions, so we looked at dump, do. Digitize is actually automating processes instead of having to do them manually. There are so many ways you can do this. So instead of, for example, sending emails to individuals, you can use a mail mail software, mail management software, such as ConvertKit or MailChimp, for you to actually be able to handle that task in a much easier way. There are so many ways you can digitize the work that you do, and what I would recommend is that you prioritize the things you do frequently and look for ways to digitize them or to automate them. The other thing is delegate. Are there people that you know or who work in your organization who you're able to outsource to, that handing over the task to them would mean that the quality of the output would be better than if you were to produce it, if you were to complete that task? Maybe they're more proficient at what they do, and this task doesn't really relate to your core strengths. So delegating will produce better quality for the task itself, or it frees you to focus on things that are more important in your life. So delegation is an extremely important dimension to productivity, and it allows us to scale our ability. So if you're thinking of yourself as having 24 hours in the day, by delegating, you're actually extending the time that's available to you. So instead of you working for 8 hours, assuming you want to work for 8 hours, then delegating to someone else may extend your day into 16 hours or 32 hours, whatever amount of time that you're able to extend your day by delegating to other people. Next is defer. So do is when you actually sit down and complete the task. Defer is when you decide on another time for you to complete the task. And defer is usually for you to work on the task itself. But it allows you to identify priorities and to focus. The do part allows you to focus on what it is you can work on right now and put everything else aside so you don't have to worry about it. You know the time will come when you will work on these tasks and you can focus single-mindedly on the task that you've chosen to do. Deferring can be specific in terms of the day that you want to work on a task. It can be a bit general, so you can have let's say, a weekly sprint. So you've decided on the things that you'll work on in this week or in the upcoming week, but you've not actually specified which day and at what time you're going to complete the task. So that's a bit general, or you can be specific. Tuesday at 12 p.m. I'll be working on this. Or it can be just basic buckets of this is the thing, these are things I would like to work on soon, and these are things that I will work on later. So anything that you know is not going to show up in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're actually deferring it for an indefinite amount of time. But what's most important is that you're able to free up your mind, you're able to free up your focus and attention so you can complete the tasks that you've chosen as the things that you want to focus on right now. The last dimension is design. And design is how you optimize every other dimension that we looked at. How can you improve the way you define your tasks, projects, commitments, whatever? What filter will you filters will you put in place in order to decide quickly what are the things that you will dump immediately? So maybe it's deciding on the newsletters you're going to unsubscribe from, deciding on the requests that you will refuse. As soon as you receive them, you will apologize and not take them on. So setting filters to decide what to dump is a way of designing your workflows and designing your decision making. You can also optimize the way you do your tasks. So maybe having clear checklists, clear procedures on what to do, clear and explicit decision making. If this happens, I will do that. Maybe having a list of productivity tips that have worked for you and you want to be reminded of how to execute them. Digitize can involve looking at software programs that can help you with automating your processes. You can look at if this then that, ifttt.com, which provides a lot of recipes, ways of connecting different programs together that can help you automate parts of your life. Whatever it is you're doing manually and can be automated, you can figure out ways for you to automate these processes. And again, design is looking at optimization of ways that you're actually executing your tasks and handling your commitments. The same with delegation, having clear expectations that you set for other people and ways you can effectively work together. And difference is how can you manage your schedule, your calendar, your timelines, setting up different boxes, maybe setting time for creative work and time for managerial shallow work. These are ways that you're optimizing and improving all the different ways you're handling your commitments. But I would caution against prioritizing the design part and most people fall into this trap of trying to optimize as much as possible, but not ending up doing the work itself. So what you might want to do is to dedicate certain times in your day or in your week for you to try out new tools, for you to reflect. A weekly review can be extremely useful in this. You're reflecting on how well your week went, and then trying to figure out ways that you can improve every way you're doing your tasks. So you don't want to get stuck in design and not actually doing the work. It's extremely common, and I would urge you to be aware of this so you don't fall into this trap. If you found all these tips useful, I know I'm biased, but I would highly recommend you grab my book. It's called Done with Grace, and it looks at 10 factors that influence our productivity and ways you can actually overcome the obstacles that you're facing by identifying which factors are impacting your productivity the most, or the factors that can leverage your productivity the most, so you can prioritize those and then hopefully improve your productivity. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to leave a comment, and thank you for watching.